All right, what is up, my friends? Welcome, because back in Strixhaven, we are the wizards that learn. No? We're doing some match analysis today. Match analysis. I played yesterday in the Insight Esports $5,000 open tournament. Super awesome event. Check out Insight Esports. They're phenomenal. Their events are great. It was a $15 entry if you sign up early. And for a $5,000 prize pool, it's freaking awesome. And I won't give my result, I guess, because I don't want to spoil the matches. But we're going to do some match analysis here of the deck that I play, which is right above. This is Andrew Jessup's deck, and super cool deck here. Playing a lot of new cards. So of course, part of the Prismari theme in Strixhaven is stupid, dummy, thick, expensive instants that have treasure cycling, where you can discard 2 and make a treasure and put the card in the graveyard. So one of the most improved cards in the entire format, thanks Hot Sizzle, appreciate that, is Torrential Gearhulk. Because Gearhulk flashing back Magma Opus, which is an absurd card, is insane. 4 damage, any way you want, Arc Lightning, tap 2 things, make a 4/4, draw 2 cards. That's really, really good for a Gearhulk. So we've seen this on a lot of different decks, and Andrew went a different route here of being like sort of a pseudo combo deck with Indomitable Creativity, where you can make your treasures off your Opus, then you just kill a treasure with the Creativity, get a Gearhulk, cast the Opus. So a little bit of a combo finish here, but not all in. No Faithless Lootings. We're not trying to play other card disadvantage cards. We sort of have just this like kind of combo control game. We can just play a control game, Memory Lapse your spells, kill your stuff, play a Gearhulk, or we could pop off on turn 4, which is awesome as well. So I played this deck in the tournament yesterday, and we're going to go over all the matches at 3x speed, pausing when necessary. And we're going to analyze my decisions. When I was playing the event, I was streaming, but I was also had the microphone off to focus. So now you get to go back and kind of look at the matches and analyze my thoughts and stuff. And let's just freaking go. Let's just do it. But first, brought to you by
Cool Stuff Inc. is proud to sponsor Jim Davis. We offer great deals on card games, tabletop RPGs, board games, and more. Get a free token featuring Jim Davis and take 5% off your next order if you use the code JIM5 at checkout. CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
All right, let's go. I won a lot of die rolls yesterday, I'm not going to lie. First opener of the entire tournament. 4 lands, 2 Magma. It's important to note this is open deck lists, so I knew what my opponent was playing. And they were playing, I don't remember actually. This is really fast. All right, this is too fast. I think this is too fast. We'll slow down a little bit. 1 second. Let's go down to like 2x. Yeah, that's really fast. So I was playing Mono Black Vampires. And we keep our hand. We have Prismari Command. We have our Opuses. Play Storm. We get the Memory Lapse, which is great. Brainstorm and Passage was very, very good for me. Brainstorm here. We find our Creativity. So now we have Opus and Creativity, which is great. The whole point of the deck. We have Prismari Command. We can kill something if we need to. Pass the turn. They recast Sorin here. We're super happy because we get to Creativity. We can actually hit 2 things if we want to here. So they put in Champion of Dusk. We could Prismari Command to kill the Legion Zealot and make them not draw or draw 1 less card. But the reality here is we're setting up for Creativity into double Opus, and we're trying to freaking kill them. So instead make treasure, untap, play land, 5 mana, Creativity 2 tokens, get 2 Gearhulks, get 2 Opuses. This is a pretty awesome first match or first game for the tournament, where we just literally pop off on turn 5 and do the best possible thing we can ever do. So pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts on the speed of the gameplay right now. It should be fast. Right now we're 2x, 1.5x might be more appropriate, but I will pause if necessary. So pretty insane turn 5. Just put in almost 20 power of the creatures, kill 2 things, draw 4 cards, and this is just a comical game here. Play some Prismari commands, kill a thing, double command. It doesn't matter what we do here. We just do things at random, win the game. So we're also working towards hard casting Opus. That's kind of the cool part of the deck, is the fact that we can hard cast Opus. If things go wrong, in your combo deck, right? And you are stuck casting Narcomoeba, right? Or casting Stinkweed because they have Rest in Peace in play. What's the fail state of your combo deck? And the fail state of this combo deck is, if we're mana flooded or the game's going poorly, we can just cast Creative Outburst. We can just cast Magma Opus, you know? And typically games where your opponent brings in things like Rest in Peace or they're heavily interacting with you, you have more time to do things like just cast your big dumb spells. So kind of a cool failsafe here. So we're going to sideboard. We're going to bring all of our removal spells. Take a look at their list right here. See, pretty standard looking, I should pause it, sorry. Can I back up a little bit? Pretty standard looking vampires list. Nothing really too crazy here. There's a Phyrexian Obliterator, I guess. Some Crippling Fears. 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Remorse, 2 Grafdigger's Cage. Cage sort of works against Creativity. You can still Creativity for a Gearhulk, but you can't flashback the spell, which is the thing. So, and yes, part of the allure of this deck is that you just board out Creativity against interactive decks. You just kind of play a normal game, which is cool. So nothing too crazy here. We're just going to board in our removal spells, our sprays, and our Abrades. Then we also brought in Chandra, too. Then we cut the lapses aren't great on the draw. It's still kind of fine, but they're definitely worse on the draw. And then, what else did we do? I don't remember. Lapses. Obviously, Sweltering Suns is great. It's funny because the Magma Sprays aren't actually that good. And I don't think I realized it for Game 2. But for Game 3, I realized the Magma Sprays didn't really kill much. So I ended up boarding them back out because they had so many 2/3s. But opening hand here is pretty great. We boarded the Chandras as like a backup plan, which is cool. Chandra's a big backup plan for this deck, where if your opponents are trying to kill your stuff or stop you, you just freaking cast Chandra and kill them. They have counter spells. So get paid off for the spray, kill a 1-drop, get Thoughtseized, whatever. And we got some big chonkers here, but I'm going to eat some pizza, as you can see. So they built the 5-est game, but they do have their nut draw of Sorin into the 4/4, which is really, really good. But we cycle Opus. Sure, play land. And now you have an interesting spot of like, all we have is lands. We could just try and hold this this other big spell and cast it. Or cycle it. But it's like 2 spells if we just cycle it. We're just dying here, too. There's a lot of damage, so drop us Prismari Command, not so great. We can kill the Sorin, and we can draw some cards and loot our hand away. We draw 2 more lands, not very good, obviously. So Mr. Ride. And now we're probably just dead. They have a champion. They have a Haven. Thoughtseize us, hilarious, right? And then we draw another land. So flooded pretty bad there. Opponent ball get a 5 at a good hand. We flooded a lot. I realized that the sprays aren't that good, and of course the lapses are really good on the play again. Lapse is really good. Lapse is a really, really solid card. I like it a lot. Very good tempo counter spell. Again, this is more of like a tempo-y control combo deck, not like a pure control deck, which is where Lapse really, really shines, which is awesome. So the other big spell is so medium. Honestly, Creative Outburst is quite good. 5 damage and then draw a really good card. Helps you set up your next combo. It's not as good as Magma Opus, but it's still good. So Brainstorm, Creativity, Outburst, pretty good. We have a turn 4 Creativity here. We have Brainstorms to hide against Thoughtseize, which is great too. So just turn 4 Gearhulk for Creativity is pretty good. Opponent plays the tap lands. Let's go. We draw Opus. Perfect. They play Knight, which is fine. And they miss a land drop. So, I mean, sure. Lucky us, I guess. We draw Memory Lapse. Pretty great. Play land. Say go. We have the option to Brainstorm, look for a land, but we're not going to rush. They Thoughtseize. So this is a spot where Memory Lapse is like better than a card like Remand because it works good against 1-mana spells. We could just put the Thoughtseize back on top of their deck and buy some time. We could also Brainstorm here and hide from the Thoughtseize too, which I think is what we end up doing. Now we lapse it. So we can lapse it and then just Brainstorm next turn. Thoughtseize again. Never mind. So sure, double Thoughtseize, cast Brainstorm. We draw the land we're looking for, which is great. Hide the Creativity, which is awesome. We also force them to discard one of the Outbursts, which is kind of cool too. So it's almost like helping us a little bit. Draw Creativity and pop off. Now, is there an Opus in my graveyard? I don't think so. Oh, there is, actually. There is. So Opus, I mean, Gearhulk for Opus on turn 4 is really, really, really good. In case you were wondering. And yeah, Brainstorm is a pretty cool card against Thoughtseize. They play Aetherborn, but now we just have a bunch of stuff in play. We have Chandra, we got Outburst, Shark Typhoon. Happy to trade here, and because we're so far ahead. They got to beat our board, our Shark Typhoon, and our Chandra. And we draw a 7th land, we're just casting the Outburst again, too. So, Thoughtseize, cycle that, draw an Opus, sure. Take the Chandra, sure. Play Grafdigger's Cage, LOL. Also cool to note is that we could Creativity their cage and then our own stuff, and it would kill the cage and then search too, which is awesome. And then we can cast spells at the graveyard. So, but yeah, not a huge rush here. Just have lethal. We draw a land. We get to Outburst. We get to Magma Opus Outburst. So, Sorin plus die. So sure. So cool. Round 1, easy game, 1-0. Round 2. Wait. It sorted them improperly. Everyone look at this advertisement for 3 seconds for my awesome sponsor, bcwsupplies.com, while I fix this. I love y'all. Y'all great. bcwsupplies.com, best sleeves in the market, not close. You're all great. I love y'all. And I'm going to take 1 second here and fix the playlist, because oopsie, round 4 does not come after round 1, right? Give me this. Give me this. Right order, please. If you haven't followed the stream with that follow button, of course, watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you like this content, please let me know. Your feedback is very important to me. And if you like these sort of analysis videos, please let me know. Because, yeah, bcwsupplies.com, promo code GYM10, 10% off your order, bcwsupplies.com. Check it out, all right? Cool. Let's go. Match 2, 1-0. Live TV, folks. Live TV. Round 2, waiting for your opponent at 2x speed. Still not fast enough. Still not fast enough. Red Dog, thanks for following. Appreciate that. Alright, so I don't know what we're playing against, unfortunately, because I didn't show the deck we're playing against. And it is open deck list, so we'll find out, you know, early on here. Pretty fine hand. We have Brainstorm, Shark Typhoon, Double Opus. Again, it is dependent on what we're playing against. I don't actually remember what we're playing against. I should have shown the opposing deck at the beginning of each video. That's my bad. Keep though, pretty good hand here. We got Typhoon, we got Opus, we got Brainstorm, Scryland, Steam Vents, we Temple, draw Passage for our Brainstorm, which is awesome. Bottom of land, sure. Next turn we get to go. I did a lot of turn 1 land, turn 2 Passage Brainstorms, but we get to do it. Cycle Opus here. Opponent's playing Teamer Flesh. Opponent is playing Teamer Flesh, which is a pretty bad matchup for us. We have very, very few ways to deal with the card Nightpack Ambusher, and they have a lot of counter spells. And it's a hard one. It's a hard one. So they play land untapped and say go. We have the ability to cycle Opus here. Spray is not really very good against them. Typhoon is fine, but they have ramp too, so... Oh, you know what this is? This is me trying to make my opponent's deck list work on MTG Melee, and it wasn't loading properly, and I'm just like frantically trying to get it to load while the rope was going, and then I misclicked through my end step and didn't cycle Opus, which ended up like being really, really bad for us. That's why I didn't cycle the Opus there. Very, very annoying. Melee was just not displaying the deck list, so that sucks a lot because now we don't have a treasure in play, which sucks. And this game ended up being a comedy of errors because I was mad about the initial mistake because of the Melee not working, and then things started cascading from there, which is really, really annoying. But play Lance, I go now without an Opus in play. Chose not to play Passage because we can't Passage, Brainstorm, and Opus. So cycle Opus, untap, draw Creativity. So now if I had the other treasure in play, probably wouldn't have mattered, but we'll see. I don't know. End step Ambusher. So now I get the Brainstorm response and no answers. So now we're in huge trouble because we can't remove an Ambusher from the battlefield at all. It would require like double Magma Spray or Magma Spray Prismari Command. And now they can just sit back on counter spells every single turn the rest of the game, which is obviously very good against us. Especially good against Creativity, but also good against our 6-mana Gearhulk. So definitely a pretty hard matchup. Dump 2 lands, crack the fetch, but realistically we're in pretty big trouble here. In comes Ambusher, and like we're in rough shape. If we had some way to kill the Ambusher, things would be a lot better for us. But so we can cycle our Mega Treasure, and if we draw like a Memory Lapse, something like that, we have the ability to maybe force through our Creativity. But opponent missed the land drops. They have 6 spells in their hand, 6 spells in hand, and Ambusher in play, and that's pretty tough. So we do have the ability to cast Outburst with our treasures, because again, it's part of the allure of the big spells. You can just cast them sometimes. They think for a while in their end step, and just wisely play nothing. We can cycle a Shark Typhoon here. Goal here is to make a 2/2 and block Ambusher, and then Magma Spray it, and force them to do stuff, which is a reasonable thing here. We try to make a 4/4, and then Brazen Borrower. It's pretty bad for us, so do this. Now, I again make a mistake by not doing this on their second main phase. So they get a 2/2, which is stupid. Didn't play this game very well, honestly. I was still tilted from the melee error at the very beginning, and it kind of cascaded through the entire game, which is a really bad thing as a Magic player. You cannot let your mistakes cascade. So, not good. Not good. Fire off Creativity. They tank for a while. They Abrade a token, which is kind of cool. Make a mana. And then they borrow the other token. So not too bad, honestly. We traded Creativity for 2 cards. But the problem is we're just so far behind that, like, it might not matter, you know? So cycle the other one. Say go still. Still have Creativity available. But now they have their 6th land. And they have their 4 of their own Gearhulks. They have a Sublime Epiphany in their deck. Huge plays available to them, which is kind of crappy. Now we draw a Gearhulk, which is actually probably the best draw in the deck, and we say go, hoping they'll Vantress. They don't. We have to Gearhulk here, so we have no choice, and we just get blown out by a Sublime Epiphany here, I think. So just out of options, unfortunately. Here's a Gearhulk. I believe they're choosing mode. Yeah, so Epiphany. Their one of Epiphany is obviously a huge blowout. Kills my treasure, draws them a card, copies a creature, counters my thing. Just like an absolute disaster. And now we're just super dead. So we're able to Creativity here, but okay, Cycle Sensor. So we were actually able to Creativity, but once they have the 6 mana and all spells in hand, we're just in like huge trouble. So now they get the Gearhulk, Sublime Epiphany, copy Gearhulk, Abrade the Gearhulk, bounce the token, and kill me. So, yeah, with them playing 4 Gearhulks in their deck and them missing land drops and knowing they have all spells, they must have multiple Gearhulks, which sucks. So, we look at their list here, and 4 Ambusher, 4 Gearhulk, 2 Frilled Mystic. Kind of a clunky deck. 3 Rewind. A lot of stuff where if you don't draw Growth Spiral, that can be a little clunky. But again, while it may be bad against decks like Gruul or Mono Red, pretty good against us because we just are playing with expensive spells. So sideboard all of our counter spells. Unfortunately, all of our removals like so bad. Our Magma Spray, Sweltering Suns, Abrade doesn't kill anything they have because their most important cards are Gearhulk and thingy. Lapses are good, Gusts are good, Negates are good, Disputes are good. Our Prismari Commands aren't very good. They don't really kill much, honestly. We cut all of our Creativities because it's not worth trying to resolve that against their million counter spells. Bringing in something like Subdual for the Wolf is like, it's pretty sketch, honestly. It doesn't actually kill it. It's still a threat, you know. I decided to take out some Prismari Commands. They're just so bad against them. Prismari Command's not very good. It's a pretty mopey card. If you're not killing an artifact with it or making use of a treasure, it's just a really bad shock most of the time. I think it's a really overrated card, but it is good in this deck specifically because you can go end step, kill your thing, make a treasure, unstap, Creativity it. But Easy Mode says in chat, I hate when people resolve a rewind against me because I know it makes them feel so goddamn smart. Agree. Rewind is you're thinking too hard kind of card, which is not very efficient. So open up on a hand here, very clunky. We got a mulligan in this hand. Double Gearhulk. I don't keep this hand, do I? No way. Keep his hands ridiculous. Double Gearhulk. The problem is that Gearhulk, and now they board in Mystical Disputes also. So our Gearhulks are like super sus. Obviously we mulligan to another double Gearhulk ban, but this has Lapse, Brainstorm, Shark Typhoon, so sure. So not a great spot. And the problem with Shark Typhoon is it would be good against them if we were ramping 2. But they're able to get to like 4 or 5 lands while we're still on like 3 or 4 lands. So our sharks aren't big enough to do anything. So play lands, they go. We're playing the Falls that comes in tapped. We're not playing Brainstorm on turn 1. Draw Passage. Now I have the ability to Brainstorm Passage, which is kind of cool. But not amazing. It's fine. So they play tap land. We fire our Brainstorm. They dispute this, which is totally fine for us. I mean, our Brainstorm being a 1 mana duress for dispute is great. So cool. Totally cool with that. Look at a mountain. Again, it's important to make sure that you have all your red sources because creativity crossed red. Play tap lands. They go. Memory Lapse up. They say go. Play lands. They go. A lot of draw go here. And again, their deck is much more suited to play a draw go game with their flash threats. So not ideal. They Growth Spiral. Put in a land. Sure. Untap, draw, land, go. We cycle Opus here. We could make a 2/2 Shark, but like the problem is that they also have 4 Brazen Borrowers in their deck. So our Shark Typhoons aren't even good either. So they really have like everything we have covered. They make it to land 6 before we have land 5, which is terrible for us. Cycle an Opus and just like play land, say go. Now we can like start making sharks and stuff, but our sharks are just behind what they're doing. If we tap out for a shark, they can Gearhulk us. It's tough. It's tough. If they were to the castle here, we do have the ability to Gearhulk if we want to. They do not though, which is pretty wise. Untap, shock a land in. Say go. We decide if we want to shark or not. We get the shark because they don't have an Opus in their graveyard, so the Gearhulk isn't that backbreaking. So now we have a shark, but you know it's obviously vulnerable to Brazen Borrower or stuff like that. We draw lands, play lands, say go. Castle of Ventress, scry 2. This feels good for us because now we're live, right? So now we have, so this is the spot we're looking for, right? We have a Gearhulk in our hand. They have 7 lands, the castle. They scry, they bottom, and they have 2 mana over. And we have the ability to Gearhulk and Memory Lapse to defend it here. This is actually really good for us. This is like our spot. So now we need to pop off Gearhulk. They've also already cast a dispute. So they only have they only had 3 total disputes in their entire deck list. But of course, as you can see by my face here, they had all 3 disputes in their top like 12 cards. So we had a chance here to actually get the Gearhulk in play and start making some progress. But pretty sick to have all 3 disputes here. And obviously we're not playing around that ever. Like ever. So pretty brutal. And now we draw Shark Typhoons. We're still sort of in the game a little bit with our Shark Typhoons, but not a great spot. Cycle Shark, make a 4/4. Again, one single Brazen Borrower breaks this entire thing up. Bounce the 4/4, block the 3/3, which is terrible for us. They have Gearhulk available. Just brutal. If that Gearhulk resolves, we have a chance. The big thing about Flash decks is they are really good when they're ahead, and they're really bad when they're behind. So if we gotten ahead, we could have done stuff. So they draw the 1 of Sublime Epiphany again, which counters my Shark, bounces my other Shark, and draws them a card. And we can't punish them because they tapped out. We do draw Shark Typhoon, which is great. So kind of weird here. We're going to hardcast Shark Typhoon. It's hard to remove from the battlefield. The problem is now their Gearhulks are all Epiphanies, which is insane also. But play with Typhoon and say go. Try and set up for a longer game. They Brazen Borrower to bounce my Typhoon. We respond here by making a Brainstorm Shark, and then I think we command too. But it's funny because like bouncing the Shark Typhoon isn't even that bad because we just have a Shark Typhoon in our hand. But so now you can see we're in like the mid to late game. We have a bunch of lands in play. So our big spells are castable, but again they have a bunch of cheap counter spells. So bounce Shark Typhoon, say go. They choose not to castle wisely, so we can't Gearhulk them. Smart. Opponent played well. This opponent top 8'd. So opponent definitely played well. They hit their spots too, of course, but they definitely did play well. So now we're in this awful spot where they just have 4 Gearhulks in their deck. If they ever play a Gearhulk on an Epiphany, we can't lose. But we just like can't stop it. They have a million lands in play. They can pay for disputes. It's just like a horrible place to be. So we just jam here. There's no choice. We just have to jam. Deck list where? It's on my deck lists. So yeah, jam a Shark, and get Epiphany. They make another copy of Shark. It's just a clown show basically. So they Growth Spiral, whatever. We're just dead. So pretty bad matchup. Opponent played very well. Definitely a matchup that would probably need to be accounted for if we're gonna play this deck in the future. Little lo-fi beats in the background. So we actually got to resolve a Gearhulk for Opus there. The problem is it just didn't actually do anything. And we just died. So got a 4/4 in play, an outburst. You know, if we can resolve this outburst, we can win. You know, it is important in these sorts of matches where you're a big dog, try and find your spots and try and get, you know, give yourself a chance to win. So we have our outburst. We're gonna go for it. You know, we're close to dead on board here. Sorry, we're not gonna go for it. We're gonna shatter and loot, or attempt to shatter and loot. And see what we draw. They have a rewind. They feel really smart. Play lands, they go, and now we're just all in on resolving Creative Outburst. We have chump block and outburst and try and kill them. And again, it's not a great spot to be in, but opponent's gonna think for a while. Opponent's probably deciding if they want to castle or not, if it's worth it. You know, how can we punish them? We only have 5 mana up. They decided not to, but all right, so that's that. Untap, draw another land. Here it is. We're out of options at this point. Now we're dead on board, so we play lands, they go. We stay go, hoping to like tap out for Vander's end step or something like that. They don't. Upkeep it. They have a counter spell, we lose. So Frilled Mystic too. So losing to rewind and Frilled Mystic kind of sucks.
We did it. 15th place. We didn't come in.
What? Why did it do it again? Is it on shuffle or something? Oh, you son of a bitch. Everyone look at this Coalesce ad. What the hell is going on? It's on shuffle. Who put this thing on shuffle? Round three. So, what's up, Will? Will, you're in Arizona now, right? Damn, man, I know you were leaving. All right, so, playing against a Jeskai control deck. Kind of like a weird creativity control deck with creativity and Magma Opus, things like that. And so we make a treasure, we got Gearhulk, we have creativity. Lands are awkward here, because you also need multiple red. They play Raven's Warning, make a token. We get to Field of Ruin them, make another red. Can't really cycle Opus either, because we need mana, so we should pop out the field here. Kind of awkward too, because like we have this Prismari Command, which can kill their stuff, and if they're able to creativity for 2 things, then they get I forget what they had. Oh, they had Lorehold, the Lorehold dragon. That was their target for creativity, which is pretty good, obviously, and time walks and stuff. So we can't allow them to resolve that. So we leave up our mana for Prismari Command. We choose to kill both their things here, specifically because we don't want to have them have stuff in play for creativity. Yeah, Transmogrify, etc. They're playing Transmogrify, not creativity, but you get the idea. Whatever. They're trying to cheat a Lorehold into play. I mean, we need some land drops here. We had to use our... Or they killed our treasure with the Abrade. Sure. So miss a land drop. Kind of sucks. They get to Raven's Warning and card on top of their deck, too, which is kind of interesting. And now we're a little stuck here. We have creativity, we have an Opus, we have 2 Gearhulks in our hand, but no lands, which is kind of tough. This deck is playing 26 lands for a reason, because you want to be able to just cast your Gearhulks fairly often, so... Raven's Warning. Land and Time Warps. This spot where we can Memory Lapse, but there's really no reason to. I'm a Time Warp with 5 lands in play, and nothing in play is kind of whatever. Now, they did pull a Chandra out of their sideboard. That was the card they Raven's Warning for. We couldn't have known that. But yes, they Chandra. For a moment I don't realize that Lapse would not counter this Aether Gust style, because Lapse actually counters the spell. We draw another Gearhulk, which is like...
Somebody's playing a prank on me.
So right now we have as many Gearhulks as lands. They have a Chandra in play. So this game's not going so well. Obviously, not going so well. We're looking to hopefully draw a land. There are very few counter spells in our opponent's deck. I make a mistake here, so I Memory Lapse the Mastery. I should have allowed the Mastery to resolve, and then Memory Lapse the Time Warp itself, because that would have removed the copy and also removed the Mastery. Now I just gave him a shot at Time Warp next turn. And of course, this is funny because you can watch my face here. I am reading Mastery and recognizing my mistake, and I haven't noticed yet that we've drawn the 4th copy of Gearhulk. Let's watch me. Let's watch it in slow motion, actually. Hold on. Let's slow this down. Let's slow this down. Let's watch it in slow motion. Let's watch it in slow motion as I recognize that we drew the 4th copy of Gearhulk. That's a mistake. Look at the hand.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Prank on me.
You can see the moment that my heart breaks, right? Yeah, so obviously just a pretty silly game. We drew more Gearhulks than lands, you know, whatever. That happens. That's magic, but pretty funny. I may have cursed. The mic was off, so I may have cursed. So obviously this game's super over. I don't know why I'm still in the game, honestly, but Poker God. I draw creativity too. So pretty funny. So we need to board in all of our counterspell stuff, bring our Narsets, bring in our Chandras. We need to cut our removal, but it's kind of awkward because they have like the Raven's Warning and they have the Transmogrifies. So like some of our removals are kind of like fine against them, honestly. But so we gotta bring in all of our counterspells. We still got all the removal. We cut a creativity and a outburst to keep things a little reasonable. I believe they had Rest in Peace in their sideboard, which is pretty sweet, honestly. So we had to bring in our Chandras, which we bring us anyway, but we gotta be aware that like they can Rest in Peace us. Narset is obviously very good too. So going into game 2 here, down a game, and we're 1-1 in the tournaments. We lose here, we're basically just dead. So keep a hand with Narset and Brainstorm. Shark Typhoon on top is super awkward because the card's really good, but it's also, we need to make land drops, so we bottom it. Draw Dispute, and make a mistake there. I played it on red, because I was kind of like just like thinking about creativity. So I couldn't cast Narset this turn. I wouldn't have cast it anyway into the Steam Vents. Actually, I Dispute. I would have. I said another mistake. I'm bad at Magic. What do you want from me? I make mistakes sometimes, you know? So we, if we had 3 blue last turn, we could have cast Narset with Dispute back up, and that would have been worth it. So I just put the land on the wrong side. I can't defend it. There's no defending it. I made a mistake. It happens. End step, field them, fix the mana. We're not playing Rip Apart. We're not playing white. We're not playing white. Easy mode. So field around them, fix our mana, make it blue. Miss the land drop again. Tough, but now you decide if we're gonna Brainstorm or not, because we get landlocked here. We're tough, so we Brainstorm into some lands, which is fortunate for us. Put back our Typhoon and our Chandra, and now our hand's pretty good actually. So now that we have lands coming, we can keep making land drops. We could try and play Narset here. The problem is they had 3 copies of Dovin's Veto in their sideboard, so we can't win a dispute battle over a veto. So we're just gonna keep sitting back and relaxing. We know we have Shark Typhoon on top. We know we're building into a Chandra, and we're not winning a huge rush. So they get a land, but Birth of Melees, but land, we still land to go. Now we have Shark Typhoon up. We have multiple counter spells. If they were to have a Transmogrify or something like that, they shock in a land, attack for 1. And we're not going to do Shark Typhoon in the main phase here because we don't want to get Transmogrified. Instead, make a Shark, which is great. Draw a card. We draw our Chandra. And they tap 2 mana here and are able to kill my Shark, which is fine. Abrade is certainly reasonable against us because obviously you can kill the treasures. Draw Chandra, draw Memory Lapse. Now we have enough mana to just cast Chandra, and we just jam. Even if they have Lore Hold here, it wouldn't kill Chandra straight up because Chandra goes to 8. So we let them have a chance at having Lore Hold. So Transmogrify for Lore Hold. And also there's a chance they've like boarded down on that effect because it's kind of like flaky against our removal spells and counter spells, but they don't have it, so that's great for us. Shark attacks us for 1, and now we're just off to the races with Chandra here. We have Chandra and multiple counter spells. Brainstorm for a land, and we miss. That's rough. So now we're kind of like Brainstorm locked. We did find a Prismari Command and a loot and a creativity, which is okay also. And we have the ability to Opus. We can creativity. So Shark for 2 is fine. Chandras are so freaking chunky. Like, it's so hard to kill a Chandra with Sharks and stuff. I'm a huge Chandra 5 fan. Like, huge. I love Chandra 5. I mean 6. Sorry, 6. So Sharks are pecking away. They don't do nothing. Here's Raven's Warning, making a token, which is great. Cycle Opus. And now we get to just turn Chandra around and kill all their stuff, which is great. And Narset on top. We could fire off a Creativity here, but we couldn't really defend except for Dispute. Again, they have Dovin's Veto, so Veto can't defend against Dispute, or vice versa. We get the Chandra, sweep the board, keep saying go. Now we have 2 emblems in play, so they're winning the game slowly here. And they play land, say go, which is great for us. And we get the option to like end step command here and try and like loot, but not really worth it. Just gonna draw, play Brainstorm, look for some lands. We find them, which is great. And now we're just packing heat. Now we're just, we've untapped with Chandra in play, and we're just in awesome shape. Put back land, Narset. Not really interested in casting Narset at all, because there's no reason to play anything in our main phase. And yeah, now we're just in big trouble, honestly. It's our end step. Decide if I want to do anything or not. I don't think we want to. I'm not sure what we're looking at right now, but not really in a huge rush. They want to make a big shark or get the Gearhulk in response, which is cool. So, again, considering end step command here to loot, I think, but Sports Center alert. Niv 6. Oh, blue, red, red. That card's sweet, actually. The 6-mana Niv Mizzet. It's bad against the fairy, but so they get so the Luca was the card they pulled out of their sideboard with the Raven's Warning. So now we're in a spot where we have a few options. If we let Luca resolve, we can just kill the artifact they target. But they can do it again next turn, so we want to shock them. So we just lapse here. We're just winning the game with Chandra anyway, so we're not in a huge rush. And they can try and defend here, which is fine. We have command, which is fine. So, and also, if we fight a huge counter battle here, we can resolve a Gearhulk on our turn too. So, Luca's still here. And I think we lapse it again. So we actually are very happy for them to draw Luca next turn, because it's not really going to affect the board that much. And there's so many Chandra emblems in play now that they just can't win anymore. So again, lapse, great tempo counter, very, very good in this deck. Not good in every deck, very good in this deck. And now they have 1 mana up. If they have a dispute, we can't resolve Gearhulk. We can do cover Creativity. They can't counter that. Great. Do this, get the thing, do the thing, win the game. Cool. So, Chandra, all-star in that game. Go to game 3. Again, they have 3 Dovin's Veto, 2 Mystical Dispute. They have a lot of cards against us. A lot of cards against us for sure. Run back the same board. Now they're on the play. It's definitely a deck that wants to be in the play for sure. And our hand is 5 lands, lapse, Outburst. Not a great hand. Easy keep in a matchup like this, though. Because this is sort of a take it slow control matchup. And we have treasures and lands. And making land drops is really, really, really important. So they end step Brainstorm, which is usually a kind of iffy play. It means they're desperate a little bit. We top a Chandra, which is great. We have Outburst. And the cool thing about Chandra is also is we can just Lotus Petal it out on turn 4. Like, that's awesome. Just like race the Chandra, So they Shark Typhoon 1, which is whatever. Now, however, the threat of Transmogrify on the Shark is a thing. They miss a land drop, which is huge. As I was saying, they're very important. And now you have the option of just like jamming Chandra. So the thing is, though, we've drawn Shark Typhoon, we have Memory Lapse, we have Brainstorm. If we jam Chandra and they untap and play land Lore Hold, we're kind of in trouble. And we're making land drops and they're not. So we're not really in a rush. They have another Shark Typhoon, which isn't ideal for us, but they play Triome. Big mistake on their part by playing Triome there. Because if they hadn't played the Triome, so very, very minor mistake in the fact that it's a land drop. By playing Triome, they tell us, hey, I can't cast Transmogrify this turn. You don't gotta be afraid, right? Then they attack, and I am super safe to cycle my Shark. If they don't play a land first and just attack, I probably can't Shark here. I guess I could, and I can Memory Lapse up the treasures. That's just like terrible. So I probably would just take the damage and not worry about it and just end step it. It's only 2 damage anyway. So a little mistake from our opponent there. Pretty important though. We eat a Shark, and we play land. And now we're at a spot where we can Chandra. We can't have Lapse up yet. Brainstorm's kind of What's up, Kyle? Again, we're not really in a spot we need to do anything yet because we're also making land drops. They miss land drops, so they just drew that Triome last turn. They have to keep drawing lands to keep making land drops. So we're in no rush. They do it, which is fine. They missed that land drop. They were discarding the hand size, But now we draw land. Now we can cast Chandra and with Lapse up. I decided to Brainstorm instead, which is also kind of fine. We're still not in a rush here, so Brainstorm. Now we have Creativity too. Drawing Negate's kind of sweet too, so now we're like super covered. And they commit my Shark. Now this is a big play for us. Because they had 2 commits to memory in their deck. Commit to memory is their only answer to Chandra. And they burn it. We get to jam Chandra now. We have Negate and Lapse up. We're also preserving a treasure. So the ability to Creativity next turn also, which is pretty cool. So preserve a treasure. They Time Warp. We don't care at all. I can't imagine we care here. I mean, the only benefit is we have to untap and do more stuff. So like... Alright, sure. I guess this is... Sure. This makes sense. This is more of a... I'm just happy you don't get another turn kind of thing than Time Warp being good. I think it's kind of gone either way. So, we Creativity, we Chandra, we Gearhulk. We just know we're going to work... That them drawing Time Warp next turn again and everything is just like too good. So, I don't think it necessarily was as much of it mattering as if it was just like, I can have you tapped out here and do whatever I want this turn and not have to worry. You know, if they Time Warp, untap, play land, and like have counter spells up, stuff like that. So with them stuck on 5 lands, it makes sense. They warp here, and now you just negate it because the game's just over. So normally you can avoid countering naked Time Warps like that, but contextually, because we are a tempo deck, we have threats in play. Those are spots where I was correct to do so. So close match, and our opponent told us after the match they had 3 Dovin's Vetoes in their hand. So Chandra coming in clutch, letting them Time Warp with emblems in play. That is pretty cool. Yeah, we emblem them. So round 4 against Dave C, another fellow streamer, and Dave was playing. I don't remember. We're gonna find out. Typhoon, Brainstorm, Creativity, Field of Ruin. A little bit of awkward hand, but fine. We really don't want to play Pathways on blue if we can avoid it because of the Creativity. So we actually play Passage here and just say go because you need red for Creativity, and if we play a Pathway on blue and draw an island or a field, now we're a turn behind in our Creativity. So I make the wise choice here to just play Passage and say go. They have a Hollow Fountain and say go. I don't know what they were playing. And we get paid off by drawing a Steam Vents. So perfect. Play the Passage. Now we have Steam Vents. Now our Passage can get red. Excellent. So pretty sweet. So play Vents, say go with the ability to Brainstorm and Shuffle. Oh yeah, they're playing Bant. It's like a Bant, Nissa, just like Bant good cards. So we get the end step Brainstorm, and then Passage. We draw some lands, some Opus. We ship a Shark and a land here, I think. Keep 1 Shark Typhoon, and then 1 Opus for Creativity. And Field of Ruin, not doing much here. We just ship that one. Shuffle all those away. Get a land, which is great. Untap and draw another land, which is fine. Play Temple. Brainstorm's a weird one because we have no way to shuffle. So we just bottom it. I think the Brainstorm's fine, but not great. They Spiral, sure. So now we have Opus available. We have Creativity available. We have Shark as well. But we're a little behind the 8 ball here. And they play Yashar and Placeable Earth, which is just a 4/4 against us for the most part, which is fine. Mega Treasure. And now we have our Creativity live too, which is great. They had 4 Memory Lapse in their deck, but not much else to deal with our stuff. So Gearhulk, Opus, kill the 4/4, draw some cards. They also have Wrath in their deck too, so a lot of lands. We get to untap here with this Lapse. Are feeling pretty good, but they play Forest, and they commit the token, which is good for us. Draw another land, sure. We get to attack, play land, say go. A little flooded, not gonna lie. They play Nissa, so pretty easy Lapse here. We could have like Shark Typhoon and tried to attack it, but we couldn't actually kill it, so. Draw another land, sure.
Somebody's playing a prank on me.
Now I have a Shark Typhoon for 4 at least, which is like a reasonable threat. So Nissa's still really good. They go for the end step Brainstorm, which is I mean it's fine. Play land, shuffle away, play Nissa. And now they're in pretty good shape because we can't really kill the Nissa yet. And they're at 8. They have a lot of cards in hand still. They have a lot of mana from Nissa, obviously. They Plains. They go for the attack. Now, this is a spot where we obviously have a 4/4 Shark available, right? But I decide that... Oh, that's what I decide that they also have Baffling End in their deck, which is a card that's very likely to be in their hand. And I'd much rather not eat their land and then lose my Shark to Baffling End. I'd much rather have a Shark in play to attack Nissa or attack them. So I decided to not block the 3/3 and We draw a 4th Pathway, play some Poker Gym, and we draw Creativity. Now, this is kind of cool, because Creativity can kill their lands. The only creatures in their deck were 2 Hydroid Krasis, 2 Yasharns, and 1 Brazen Borrower. And obviously hitting Krasis is a blank. So, we've already seen 1 Yasharn. So, the right of their deck, in theory, contains Krasis, Borrower, Yasharn. So we can like creativity their lands or their creatures pretty safely, honestly, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool draw. Obviously, having 5 lands in play otherwise in our hands not good otherwise, but kind of cool. Kind of cool. We could try and kill their planes here, and if they hit one of their 2 Krasis, or maybe a flip to win the game, maybe. It is risky though. I believe I decided not to do it. Maybe I should have, honestly, in thinking about it now. Maybe we're just so far behind. Because they're about to untap with Nissa in play, and we have literally all lands in our hand. We should have just gone for it. We'll never know. They could have hit... Again, they could have hit Borrower or Yasharn and blocked and still survived. So, I think I should have gone for it there. I think that was a mistake. It feels bad to, like, blow your spell on a 50-50 shot, but you should probably just go for it with 5 lands in play. In your hand, I mean, and no action. Now they're at 4. They have a bunch of mana. They also have memory in their graveyard too. So they can like, draw a bunch of cards if they want to. They have a bunch of mana. They've got Nissa. I think it turns out that one of their Krasis was in their hand. But we obviously couldn't know that. So we drew Prismari Command, which isn't great. And now we're in a spot where we're looking at like setting up a big creativity to kill multiples of their creatures. Because they only have so many creatures left anyway. So our attacks aren't super great here. So tank forever. I decide I'm gonna loot here, I believe. Just like shock. I think I make a treasure and loot. And then we draw 2 more lands. Pretty ridiculous. And we pass through lands. And we're looking to set up a big creativity here. No, we're not, actually. Okay, so we creativity the Krasis and the token. They lapse it. No attacks. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. We cast Typhoon in our last match. It's pretty rare, but it is possible. Mostly comes down to, like, if the game's going to go long and they can't actually remove it. So. Alright, so. A lot of lands in our hand. They topped our creativity. And again, now, they make another land here. We can just pop off a huge creativity and just try and go for it. What's in our yard there again? We have a... There it is. We're actually lacking a big spell in our graveyard, too, which kind of sucks. So we actually... Our own creativity isn't even that good. Make Nissa, make a land. So... At this point, we decide if we're going to go for creativity on land, Krasis, and the thingy. There's now a Narset in play, so we can't even like cast a Brainstorm with our Gearhulk, which is kind of lame. So we go for it. So we tap a bunch of lands, and we try and kill all their stuff and our thing. And again, their remaining creatures are a Brazen Borrower, a Hydroid Krasis, and a Yasharn. Krasis being a blank, obviously. And they have another Memory Lapse, sure. So kind of stinks. And now we're just like, now we're just pretty dead. Now they've had Nissa and Narset play for multiple turns, and we're just like super, super dead. But deciding here if I want to Field of Ruin the Temple Garden, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So go. Yeah, we're just like mega behind her. Obviously, we drew like 1,000 lands this game, but Cycle Shark for 1, sure. Kind of a weird one, but they Brainstorm, sure. I mean, they just have the world here. They Brainstorm, they have Narset to clear it. They've got everything, you know. Definitely, the Bant deck is just a bunch of really good cards. Baffling End, sure. Make a land, sure. And send the big thing, sure. So we get to go over one more big creativity next turn. Try and kill all their stuff and give us a Gearhulk. That's not going to do much, but... Whoosh. And they have Lapse again. Rough game, obviously. So, go to game 2. Bringing our Negates, our Disputes. Our Gusts are good, our Narsets are good. Here's our deck list if you want to see it. They have 3 copies of Rest in Peace in the sideboard. Now, I wanted to work on some sort of Rest in Peace deck for this tournament. I just didn't really have time, honestly. Actually, I stole Andrew's deck. Rest in Peace is phenomenal right now. And the fact that if you can play a deck that play Rest in Peace without it hurting your strategy at all, really good. So 3 Rest in Peace here. 3. Which is huge. They also have Gust, Stroke, Dispute, a lot. They also have Test of Talents, a ton of answers for us. We got to bring our counter spells and our Chandras and kind of pray a little bit here. Cut off our bad removal spells. Shave down on creativity. They also have Test of Talents or whatever, so if they counter our creativity, they're all gone. So might as well shave 1 or 2 of them. And go down on creativity, go out on command here. We can shave Outburst. We're a little less reliant on the combo element of a deck too. And bring in our more nimble elements. We'll rely a little harder on Narset and Chandra, and see what we can do here. Again, if you haven't followed soon, that follow, and of course watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Welcome. We were going over my matches from yesterday's $5,000 esports Insight Esports $5,000 open, and we're currently 2-1 as of this match right here. So, on the play, game 2, Negate, Lapse, Gust, Shark. Pretty good. Pretty solid hand here. Play basics, they go. Narset is great. Now, they have Dispute and, I think that was it actually, just 2 Disputes. So, only 2 ways to counter that there. So I jam. They obviously have it, of course, which sucks for us. Road Spiral, sure. Yeah, they only had 2 ways to counter that. Draw a Shark, sure. So now we start sharking. Now we have a little bit of like a flashy game plan here. Double Shark, triple counterspell. Oh, they have Lapse here. I'm sorry. You're right. They have Lapse too. You're correct. Lapse wouldn't obviously counter it though. We'd just put it on top, but you are correct. Brainstorm. Big tank here. The answer to that Brainstorm with no shuffle back is a little it's okay. You know, it's not great, but fetch land. Play planes. There's your Rest in Peace. So, kind of like just have to negate this because even though we're not doing any graveyard stuff yet, it's pretty important to our core strategy. Rest in Peace basically would just invalidate our Gearhulks and everything else. So, Narset, and we gotta let it resolve. We could have lapsed, but we have we have Shark to kill it. Never mind. So yeah. We have Shark's obviously very good at killing Narset, which is great. And we Shark up here. Hope they don't have their 1 Brazen Borrower. They don't, thankfully. Draw an Opus to go with our Gearhulk. Sure. Pizza says, pieces of advice to share on how to critically evaluate yourself watching film. Ask me when I'm not. Like later on. So, Cycle Shark. Make 3/3. Now we're actually like in a decent spot. So now we have 2 Sharks. We're actually ahead on mana now because they missed the land drop. We have like 2-ish counter spells in our hand. We also have Gearhulk Opus as a threat so if they tap out. So we're in pretty good shape here, honestly. And fire up the Sharks, play the land taps, they go. Gearhulk top it, great. And they end step Borrower to bounce a Shark. And again, Borrower is really good against the Shark Typhoon because now the Borrower can block the other one. They declined to cast the Borrower though, which is kind of interesting. Means for sure that's some sort of counter spell. Make a treasure, attack for 3. Let it happen. And now we have Gearhulk plus Lapse. So now they cast the Borrower. Only 2 mana up. We get to play Gearhulk and then Lapse their counterspell. So, great spot for us. There's your Lapse. We Lapse their Lapse. Fire off the old Opus. Mug them for 3, kill their thingy, draw 2 cards, make a 4/4, all the good stuff. Draw Creativity, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure if we have anything in our graveyard yet, but... Alright, so, they have rats in their deck, but not in their hands. We take game 2, which is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet game there. Definitely solid, definitely solid. Now, sideboarding, just going to keep it the same, I'm pretty sure. There's no reason to really change much here. I think I'm pretty happy with our configuration. It's a little annoying how Nissa is pretty good against Chandra, but... We're also have a draw now, which sucks against the Growth Spiral Memory Lapse deck, but... So, opener is fine because we have Scryland and Passage and Brainstorm. Definitely a little clunky here. They have turn 2 Rest in Peace. I mean, he just can't stop it. And now he can't remove it either, so... Rest in Peace, pretty tough. Pretty tough. Draw some lands. Now I can send back some of our spells that aren't really going to work here, and now we're super reliant on, like, Chandra and Shark Typhoon and just, like, finding some other way to win. Rest in Peace is pretty brutal, so... We ship a land in an Opus. We keep the Outburst because we're more likely to be able to just actually cast it. Like, we can definitely cast Creative Outburst. Play lands, they go. They spiral, and they make a land drop here, which is really... So now they're ahead on board. They have 5 lands to our 3. Ahead on mana. They have Rest in Peace in play. It's tough. Tough scenario here. Play landing, and then Krasis is the perfect threat here with all our counter spells. They only have 2 Krasis, but perfect threat. Make a treasure. We keep the Outburst in our hand to cast. We kind of just need to. Play land taps, they go. And now we're behind. And now our counter spells are much worse because we're behind on the board. They can just attack and leave all their mana up, which is terrible for us. So, untap, draw Creativity. We can still Creativity to get, turn our treasures into 5/4s, but not super great. They Shark Typhoon here. Now, this opens up a window for us to play Creative Outburst and resolve it. The problem is now we're tapped out, though. But given that we're at 16, about to go to 8, if we allow this to happen, we just have to Outburst here. It sucks. It's not fun. It just sucks, but we have to do it. We can't be on a 2-turn clock with all their mana untapped. So, and we realistically don't have any answers to the board anyway. So, kill the thingy. They shock in. And now they just have free reign to do anything they want to. Narset's great. Yeah, everything's great. Narset, go get some stuff. Get a Nissa. Probably should have pre-combated that and get whatever. Like, it just doesn't matter, So, tough game here. Rest in Peace really sealed the deal for us. I mean, without Rest in Peace, we could have, Gearhulked them this turn. We could have in Creativity and blah, 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 blah. But Rest in Peace plus good threats, really, really painful and hard to beat. So we can just, make a treasure here and then just make a 5/6 with Creativity. We just cast Gearhulk and resolve a Gearhulk, Yeah, not too happy. Not much you can do here, honestly. Just, pretty tough. We have Gust for Nissa, but, it's really hard to beat. We have Negate on the way back down. We're set on board currently, basically, in 2 turns. Just tough. Narset again. Get a test of talents. The game's just over. So now we're 2-2, which is not a good place to be in a 8-round tournament. 2-2 definitely can't make top 8 anymore, but we're still playing for top 16, which is $50 prize and an invitation to their invitational next month. It's a $5,000 invite-only tournament, which is awesome. So we got to stand strong here. We got to stand strong. I'm going to think for a while here and try and find a way out. There really aren't any. Chandra can't kill all their stuff. We go for a Hail Mary Creativity. They can just counter it. It's just bad. Just bad all around. Yeah, so tough match there. Rest in Peace really, really hurt us. The fact that they had Rest in Peace and so much other stuff too is really, really tough. So I believe this round we were against Mono Red Burn, I believe, is the matchup. We were 2-2. Seems like a kind of hard matchup, honestly, because they're so fast, but Our hand, Magma Spray is huge. Our hand's not great here, but I kept this hand on the back of the Magma Spray because they only had like 12 creatures in their deck, and they're all burn spells. If we can kill that first creature, it's huge. So, draw Opus, perfect draw. You know, we were drawing to any of our eight Prismari spells there. Now we get to Instead of Opus, untap Creativity, which is phenomenal. Instead of Lightning Me, sure. Pillar of Flame, sure. Attack, sure. Now we're at 13, but we're about to go off. Now we're 10, we're about to go off. So Opus, untap, draw land, play this. Pop the Creativity, put a Gearhulk in, kill their stuff, deal some damage. And the good news about the Opus Creativity is it just turns the corner and kills really fast. It puts 9 power in play and usually nugs your opponent for some amount. So they have Helix, they have Light Up Stage for Shock and Soulscar Mage, which is pretty fine. We fire in here, play land. We have Command and Shark Typhoon up, which is great. Play Soulscar. Gotta play Shock, it's gotta go somewhere. So send it upstairs. They have 1 card left here. Instead, make a Shark. Now I get to go for the Prismari Command, try and kill Soulscar Mage and win the game here. If they have a spell, they will have a chance to draw out on us and draw us, but we can't do anything about it. So I guess they have a Ruins in play too, but go for Gearhulk. I'm sorry, whatever. Fire up Gearhulk with it and spray. That's about to block her too. Cool, so that works. So definitely, if they had a burn spell there, they could have like burn spelled us and then untapped drew a land for Ramanap Ruins or drew a burn spell. So a little fortunate, Here's their deck list. You can see here they have Roiling Vortex in their sideboard. Good card against us. Also Rest in Peace. They have a lot of good hate cards for our combo-y stuff. Which is tough. Vortex says if you cast a spell with that many mana on it, you take 5. And of course, Rest in Peace we saw, obviously. And we gotta go sideboarding here. And we're gonna bring all of our removal spells. And then we have the options. So our lapses aren't great, but they're kind of like okay. Shave 2 Outbursts. We know that they have Vortex and Rest in Peace. So we want to lean a little bit less in our combo, but it is still pretty important. Yes, remanning your own spells is a nut. That's right. That's why remand is so good. You cast a spell, they counter it. You remand your own spell, and you 2-for-1 them because you draw a card too. It's great. All right, so we shave a Creativity. We shave 2 Outbursts. We bring in our removal spells. We actually bring in some Negates here because Negate is almost a little better than Lapses. Lapse is okay too, but we're on the draw. It's a little tougher. Sweltering Suns is great. We have a lot of removal here. We're mostly just going to die to the burn spells if they have a good burny hand. But there isn't a critical massive burn in the format like there is in Modern. So no Boros Charms, no Lava Spikes. So opening hand here is okay. We're on the draw. I can't make a mana on turn 2 with the passage. They mulligan. We have Sweltering Suns. We have Negate. We have Command. A little slow though. Real tough one. I actually don't recall what I did. I'm going to mulligan those. Yes, that makes sense. Mulligan to a kind of hand. The good news here is that we can also Creativity our Shark Typhoon token, which is cool. So Tasty says, I'm sorry for one of the questions that you hate, but do you Magma Spray for the exile over extra damage? No. I don't hate questions, Tasty. You miss. It just, that's a good question. You're saying, why do you want X over Y? That's good. If you just say, why not play this card? There's not enough context for me to answer the question properly. That question's good. So, why Magma Spray over Frostbite? We're not playing enough basics for Frostbite. And then the exile is very relevant against things like Arclight Phoenix and so on and so forth. And we never need to go face with it. So, Spray's the best one, I think. So, we got Negate, Creativity, Shark Typhoon. They brought in Bowman Courier also, and they have the Rest in Peace. So a little tough here. I'm not going to lie. Now we're fighting a bit of an uphill battle. Reality is, though, that Creativity is still going to make some 5/6s, which is cool. And the Courier doesn't do that much damage. So, Courier's gone. We draw Magma Spray. Tight. They land. So go. So now this is an important one. We cast Magma Spray on their Bowman Courier in their draw step after they drew a card. This is the best time to kill a Bowman Courier because there's a time they have the most amount of cards in their hand and can't do anything about it. So they have 4 cards in their hand. If we killed it on our turn, they only had 3. If we wait to their attack step, they'll play a land and play a spell. But in their draw step, they're stuck with these cards in their hand, and they only have 2 mana in play. So they want to correct this courier. It's going to cost them all 4 cards in their hand. Best time to do it. They tank for a bit. They lightning us. Not much point in negating this, I think. Trying to hit like a vortex, something like that's a little better. They tank for a while. They lightning again. Now we know they can't cast vortex. We're just gonna negate this. We don't want to die with a negate in our hand, you know. So we kill that. They only have 2 cards in hand, which is great, and they don't have a land drop either. Great draw in Prismari Command. Phenomenal draw. Because now you get to kill the Soulscar Mage and make a treasure. And now they have no pressure, only 2 cards in hand, and only 2 mana in play, which is phenomenal for us. They play a land. They play Clever Lumimancer, and they say, yeah. 1 card left, red up. Any spell would defend it against a shock, so we need to consider that. Keep Passage, which is totally fine for Brainstorm, possibly. And now, we can just go and get ourselves a 5/6. Obviously, Rest in Peace means our Gearhulk won't do much, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? It's a 4 mana 5/6, and it basically stonewalls their Lumimancer. They put Lurrus into their hand, which is obviously fine. We draw Suns, which is pretty great. We attack, and then we just say go here. Never seen a Suns yet because they have Lurrus, obviously. They just hard cast Light Up a Stage, snap negate that. Snap negate. They get it for 2 here, which is annoying, but whatever. We draw land, sure. Now you have a 4/4 Shark Typhoon, which can safely block a Lumimancer with 1 trigger on it, which is great. They play land, they play Lurrus, and now it's all over for the crying. Make a 4/4, untap, Sweltering Suns, perfect. So, you need to think for a moment here about if you want to play the Sweltering Suns first or not. Because they could have their own burn spell, but alright, so kill that, blah 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 blah, attack and kill them. So sweet. So thought it'd be a hard one, but ended up things lined up pretty well. We also beat Rest in Peace that game too, which is pretty sweet. So now we're in round 6, playing against the Lurrus deck again, and I don't recall what this deck was. Why not Suns? Responsive trigger off the light up cast. Suns of Sorcery. So, I don't recall what their deck was. Oh, it was an Auras deck. It's Auras. So, we keep a hand on the play. I mean, we want a lot of die rolls in this tournament. I'm not going to lie. No worries, pizza. So, we have Lapse here and Suns on the play, which is phenomenal. Really, really good for us. They tanking. Thanks for following, everyone. I appreciate it. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, I am going over my matches from the 5K yesterday. I played this deck, and we're currently in round 6 of 8. Scry on the play. Again, Lapse, so good in the play. They have Thoughtseize. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now not only do they get to take a card, but they see my Sweltering Suns and my Lapse. Makes those worse. We play Mountains, they go. Start popping off the Opuses here. And now if they have a Saram or Spirit Dancer, we have Sweltering Suns. So they can't really produce their game plan here. We also have our Opus available. They Thoughtseize again, so this is fine. Let them Thoughtseize, whatever. And now we're just drawing to our Creativity, which is great. Outburst, sure. Cycle. Land, sure. So we're also in a spot where we can just hard cast Outburst next turn, which is kind of cool too. So again, you know, the plan B here isn't that bad. Cast Hateful Eidolon, put an Angelic Gift on it. So now they have a 1/2 flying lifelink. We draw Memory Lapse. So we have the option to Outburst here. Just gonna wait and see if they cast a spell or not. They do not. And now they can cast Lurrus, and with nothing in their bin, I don't think. And no point in lapsing this, I don't think. They go for Ghost Form, and we say...
Get off my plate.
Huge blowout. Creativity and Gearhulk. Now, of course, Creativity not good without a Gearhulk, not without a thing in play. So take the Gearhulk, and we have a Lapse, super clutch Lapse there on the Spirit Dancer. Draw land, nope. So now you have Prismari Command, which can kill the Spirit Dancer, which is great. So the aura stack is, if you can kill their creatures before they get too big, you can definitely handle them. Which we're able to do. We can't kill a big thing, but we can kill them when they're small. So now you get to kill this, make a treasure, and then fire off Gearhulk or Creativity next turn. Stay off the eyes, we kill this. Cross out the eyes, a candle from the wall. Anyone? Anyone? So, we kill it, make a thingy, and now we have a Gearhulk available for the Opus. We don't even need to play Creativity. We can just cast the Gearhulk on their upkeep, and just tap their lands too, which is pretty important. What's up, Awesome Possum? Appreciate that. So we just say go, cast Gearhulk, tap their 2 lands, kill their thing, and here's the huge turn the corner swing, where we get to put 9 power in play and really turn things around. They'll draw 2 cards off their Eidolon, but tapping their lands is clutch too. So now we like pseudo time walk them, and we're in great shape now. Let's play land, attack with that, and now we can just hit our own thing. This is pretty fun. So we just kill our own creatures to get 2 more Gearhulks and then kill them, which is really, really fun. So fun little turn there. So in sideboarding, we got to kill their stuff. Magma Spray, Abrade. Also, here's the deck list. You can see they don't got much for us. No Rest in Peace. They have 4 Thoughtseize main, but that's really all they have. There's no Rest in Pieces. There's nothing really crazy. They do have Go Blank. Go Blank's the new card. It's a 3 mana spell. You just target opponent discards 2 and exiles their graveyard, which is a good card. That card's fine against us. But so we get to bring in our removal spells. We also bring in our Mystic Subduals, which is a really cool card. -2/-0 removes all abilities from a creature, so it turns their core Spirit Dancers into nothing, which is great. And Shaven Outburst, and that's really it. We cut all four Memory Lapse on a draw because like it's just pretty loose. And fire up for game 2 here. Fire up for game 2. Take a breath. Taking a breath's nice. All right. Opener is kind of but are we mulligan that? We have Brainstorm fetch land too, but I think it was pretty bad. So, but now you have the same hand but worse. But we kind of have to keep us mulligan already. So we're also playing around Thoughtseize too here, which is kind of annoying. So ship the Shark. Shark Typhoon's like not great against the faster decks. So they get to take my Brainstorm, and we draw the card we bottomed. Not a good start for us. Not a good start. They have Spirit Dancer, and we're just freaking dead. Just pretty clearly dead here. Just bad hand. It got worse. They Thoughtseized us. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. You know. And they got Ghost Form. Blah 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 blah. And the game's just over. Once the Spirit Dancer gets big, it's pretty hard for us to win. So cycle Shark for nothing here. Just try and draw land. Draw another Shark Typhoon, and they're just Subdual. So really, really good here. So again, Subdual is an aura, removes the abilities and the power from the creatures. Now we target this. It's now a -2/2 that doesn't draw cards anymore, which is actually kind of clutch. They play a Spirit Dancer. They miss a land drop, also kind of clutch. Because now we can actually kill it with command. If they went like Spirit Dancer, land, aura there, we're also in up shit's creek kind of. But they missed again. So now you get to play a land. We get to Creativity. I'm sorry, command. Kill the other Spirit Dancer, which is great. Make a treasure for our Creativity, which is awesome. So real good. Real sick runner there after a really terrible opening hand. Pretty lucky. And they play another Spirit Dancer. Just keep them coming, you know. And we draw land, and now we have the ability to... We don't have any big cells in our graveyard, but we can just get a command and kill the Spirit Dancer, you know. So ship the that, make a treasure, kill this. Say go. Sorry, folks. 1 second. All right, so make a mistake here. Not necessarily a mistake. I just didn't realize it. So the Kaya's Ghost form, it doesn't give the ability to the creature. So I thought it was going to be removed from the thing. It was not. So they got their Spirit Dancer back, which is kind of scary, actually. But still not that bad. We have the creativity anyway. And pop off here. Fire off a Outburst. I might have not attacked if I had realized that. So kill this. Impulse. And options are weird. Only have 5 lands for Gearhulk. It's not on Sweltering Suns. The card we can definitely guaranteed cast. We do risk this Saram getting too big. But if we're able to kill it, it's really, really good. So, what's up, Frem? Happy Mog Monday. You missed Mog Monday to be up on YouTube. Anything I would change? Not really sure offhand, honestly. And they have a dead weight. They had so many dead weights here that they couldn't cut them after sideboarding. So they dead weight my Gearhulk, draw a card, which is fine. And they Mogi's favor the Gearhulk to make it a 5/3. Which means it will die to my Sweltering Suns, which is unfortunate. But so, killer stuff, get in, and they go blank me, which is pretty sick. So they get to Mind Rot me and exile my graveyard. Pretty powerful, but we're also ahead on board now. So, there's your Gearhulk. Now we have Opus in our hand. We're 2 lands from casting Opus, so we're not going to cycle it. They get the Saram and Cartouche, sure. And we draw a land. So now we're 1 land off casting our Opus. They chump, sure. So now we want to draw basically any land or any spell for the most part. Ghost Form, sure. And the good news with Opus is we can tap things and just like nug them and kill them. So there's dead on board to a land. They get to attack with Vigilance, whatever. Oh, not Vigilance, sorry. Oh, they have Fracture here, sure. So really good for them. Fracture, there's a 1-of on their sideboard to kill the Gearhulk. We draw Magma Spray, not ideal. And now we're in a bit of trouble, actually. So our threat's gone, and their Saram's alive, and we can't kill it. It's out of range right now. And they have Go Blank again. Brutal. So we have to make a treasure, and we lose our graveyard again. And going tough here. Going tough. This deck is on there. Drop Prismari Command, not great. They cast Luris, and now they're just kind of off to the races here. We get to Prismari Command Luris. So they Ghost Form it, so we get to do this, make a treasure. And I would like to just draw a spell here. If they get to untap, we're probably dead. So we really got to draw a spell here. This is like our one shot. Boom, boom, ba, boom, 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 ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, 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 ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba. No good spell. So for a game that we were losing pretty badly, we kind of like had a chance to win that game for a little bit. But going to game 3, now we're on the play again. So some lapses come back in. Deciding on Sweltering Suns and Friends. Again, on the play is such a huge advantage because now our Sweltering Suns and Prismari commands can kill their 2-drops before they get to use them. So pretty huge actually. And I want to bring in the lapses, but I need to cut stuff. So decided to just cut the Sweltering Suns. They're just really clunky, and we have command can kill stuff on the play too. So what's the name of the deck in Cardboard Live? It's like the second to last deck or whatever, or the third to last deck. Why Suns over Clarion? We're not playing white, folks. There's a lot of white cards being tested. We're just a straight Izzet deck. So, hand's not very good here. Just a bunch of expensive ones. And then we open into a pretty good one. Pretty good 5-card hand here. Triple removal spell. And need to keep them off their creatures. They only have 12 creatures in their entire deck. So we can keep them off them. Obviously, we draw the card we bottomed, obviously. Why wouldn't we? And then we have Abrade, Spray, and Command up. What's up, Borg? Games of subs? No. I owe you all that one. So they tank for a while here. Because they're obviously afraid of their thing just dying. So they decided to wait. So we Temple here. We get to Scry. We could play Field and just like fire off the shuffle. Which I guess we do. I guess we want to have the option of Command. They play Sram. They go for an Aura probably. We get to kill response, which is great. They draw a card, but it's just a 2 for 2. Or 2 for 1, or whatever. It's a card parity. We kill their thing and their Aura, but they also draw a card. But tempo-wise, it's huge. There's your Opus. So now we're in great shape. Land on top. Opus. We have Opus next turn, which is phenomenal. Why Sun over Anger? Someone said Clarion, right? Yeah. Anger, you can't cycle it. I mean, it's a dead card against a lot of decks. So. Alright, so they get to play Saram with a Claim, which is pretty great. A 1-mana Saram's pretty awesome. Am I playing SG this weekend? Probably not. Go for the Eyes. We got to kill it. Now, we decided to use the Abrade here. It's more mana efficient than the Spray is. So we can't kill and cycle Opus because of the Field of Ruin anyway, so. Now, I screwed up there. So, I meant to end step cycle Opus and sack the treasure and make a new treasure because then I could have Opused here. Why is this not? I'm over here. Oops. So I screwed up. I just clicked too fast and really, really devastating mistake. So we would have had on their turn upkeep, Gearhulk, Opus, tap 2 lands. Would have been insane. Would have been really, really good. Because the one thing we're missing here was the Opus in our graveyard. So even though we're sacking a treasure to make a treasure, it's still really good. So big mistake there. Big mistake. Big misclick. Now I got to figure out what to do because I have the now the Opus is still in our hand. We can gas Gearhulk, but we don't got much in our graveyard, which is kind of tough. So we have a Braid in command. So play land. Say go. We have Gearhulk up if we want it. They Thoughtseize us, and now we're in a kind of awkward spot. So now we had the ability to hit them, and now we're getting totally broken up by the Thoughtseize draw. So pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Real punish here. Punish here for our mistake. Fire on the Gearhulk. Cast Command. Make treasure. I think deal 2 to them, I think. Not ideal, but we got to get something going on the battlefield here. So, what's up, Warlock? So, feels bad. Feels bad. They put Lurus in their hand. And so they must be out of creatures, which is great for us. So, not too shabby. And now we draw lands. Now we're 1 mana off casting Magma Opus. And so you're telling me there's a chance. Play Spirit Dancer. I think Prismari Command will see playing in Modern. Not really, no. I think Prismari Command is pretty freaking bad, actually. But it's very good in this deck because it makes treasures. So, Ghost Form, Spirit Dancer, make a token. And all we need to do is draw a land or a way to cast this. So they Thoughtseize again. They go to 9. And we untap. Shuffle. So there was a Gearhulk on the bottom. We want to make sure it comes back as a possible draw. And we need a big draw step here. Brainstorm. More looks. There's your Gearhulk. There's your Gearhulk.
Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god!
Ship those. Cast Gearhulk. Win the game. So, takes me a moment here to math it out, but I figured it out eventually. So, we just cast Gearhulk. We just tap both their creatures. Nug them for 4. Attack for 5. And the game's over. So, Opus. So, nug ya. Tap your stuff. And get it for 5 for exact damage.
Game.
Woo! So did not get punished for a mistake there, which is, you know, standard theme of the stream. Play bad, win anyway. Match number 7. Round 7, 4-2. And Gurmag was playing... I don't remember. Alright, you're up. Historic decks are all one big splashy play. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing, a little bit. Alright, so, oh, there are an Arclight Phoenix deck. So once again, we have a nice land into Passage Brainstorm opening, which is kind of cool. Our hand is okay. It's not great. And they were playing Arclight Phoenix. They got no... After one, they get the Brainstorm, which is fine. Arclight is a little slow, and they don't have a ton of interactive cards, which is good for us. Suns in the main deck. Yes, yes. Alright, so we get the Brainstorm, and we can get rid of one of these Suns for sure. And then we decide what other card to get rid of. At this point, it's probably the other Brainstorm, because the Brainstorms are kind of limited. We're only playing 3 of them. Because without a fetch land, we have 4 Passage and 2 Field of Ruins. This is not as good, so we ship it. Get rid of it. Draw another land, sure. So we, they opt... And again, we're pretty happy just to cycle Suns here. At this point, like, it's not going to kill much. Unless they play, something can kill this turn. So, cycle, draw. And now you got Creativity and Outburst, pretty good. Gearhulk, which is fine. Brainstorm, Memory Lapse, pretty good. So, pretty solid here. We have the possibility of lapse your spell, and then we have a cycle Outburst, and then play Creativity. I believe they had 1 Spell Pierce and 1 Abrade in their main deck as ways to deal with this. Cast Looting. Now, this is a very interesting spot, because normally you wouldn't counter Looting, but Memory Lapse is very unique, because it just says, hey, not this turn. And this is clearly the turn they've been setting up for the last few turns, so pretty good Memory Lapse here. Pretty good Memory Lapse. This delays their Arclights for a turn. They cast Stormwing, which is pretty good. And they scry... I think they scry the Looting at the bottom, which is a pretty good sign too, so... Do that. Make a thingy. And now we have Gearhulk into Creative Outburst. Gearhulk into Creative Outburst to kill their thingy and draw a new card, get a Gearhulk in play, all pretty good. Play that. Cast Gearhulk. And they have Spell Pierce. The 1 Spell Pierce in their deck, which is just sick. Just sick. Sick. Look, sick. Sick. So pretty tilting. So they counter these actual spell. We still have a 5/6 to play with, which is good, but now this entity is going to get really, really big and do some damage to us. Maybe some Arclights. There's your Finale Promise. Make a Looting. Finale Promise is so good. So yeah, pretty sick. They attack for a bunch. We untap. We don't draw a land for Gearhulk. I guess it wouldn't matter, but cast Brainstorm. And we hit Magma Opus, Prismari Command. We have a lot of good stuff here, but not enough time to do it all. And we're just at 9. And we just can't kill the Storming Entity, which is probably going to kill us next turn. So not a great spot to be. And we can, like, Prismari Command to kill the Arclight and, like, excuse me, discard the Opus, but it's tough. Tough spot. We have Lapse, too, but we can also Opus plus Lapse. Sprite Dragon is here, so gotta Lapse this or we just die. So planning. And now we're just dead to 2 more spells. Also been an Arclight, playing Opt. So the game is end. So that Spell Pierce was pretty damning. Without that Spell Pierce, then we easily win this game. So we lost to the case copy of Spell Pierce. Tough way to lose the game 1, but you can't dwell on it. You know, the most important thing in Magic is to focus on the things you can control. You can't control them drawing their 1-ups. It just happens. So tighten up. Go to game 2. We get to bring in our Magma Sprays, our Disputes, our Narset. Of course, Narset's very, very good against Phoenix decks. Like, really, really good. Gust is a little weird. It's like, okay. We want all of our kill spells to kill the Sprite Dragons and the Storming Entities, which is fine. Don't want Chandra, it's too slow. Typhoons are kind of slow also. I think Shaving and Outbursts is the thing I did a lot anyway. Lapses are like weird because they have a lot of like small cheap spells. So Lapse is like sort of okay but not great. So we go like that. On the play for game 2. Tough game 1 there. Tough game 1. If it was Mad Scythe, I wouldn't have cared. But the 1-up Spell Pierce is just too much. Just too much. Allergies. The word of the day for all you YouTube folks is allergies, frowny face. That's your word of the day, YouTube folks. Allergies, frowny face. So, 2 Gearhulks. Drawing Gearhulks in the openers isn't great, honestly. So we mulligan to an okay hand. Brainstorm with a shuffle effect. Opus and Spray.
Woohoo, supporting the greatest streamer for half a year.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. End step Opus, pretty good. We got a passage with our Brainstorm now. We get Magma Spray. It's okay. It's okay. What's up, Oxymoron? End step Brainstorm. And passage is fine. Pretty common. I think it's a play you're going to see very often in this format going forward is turn 2 passage Brainstorm sack. Sprite Dragon, aka Dead.
Get off my plane.
Kill a dragon. Slave a dragon, if you will. There's your Brainstorm. Our hand is not great, but hopefully about to improve. And they dispute it. So, again, kind of like, sure. I mean, if my Brainstorm ends up being a duress for the dispute, then we just draw creativity anyway. So, pop off here, and now we're way ahead. We get to Opus them, put 9 power in play, nug them for 4, and then Phoenix doesn't really have a good comeback mechanism for stuff like this, honestly. They small ball a bit. Divine Vert, YouTube members are also pile drivers, all right? You watch your mouth. You watch your mouth. Anger and Historic, it's fine. Brainstorm, casting spells, blah, blah, blah. Looting, blah, blah, blah. Discard a Phoenix, just like whatever. We smash in. Now, yeah, I can cycle Shark Typhoon for a 3-3. Hopefully draw a land for Gearhulk. Thanks, Jones. Light Carrier, too early to tell. Too early to tell. Finalia Promise. Targeting looting and ops. Pretty good. Warlock, new sub. What's your name away from? Thanks so much. Appreciate that. New subs. Join Discord. They get the looting. Get some more Phoenixes. Blah, blah, blah. The thing is, like, now we're just so ahead on the board that, like, a couple Phoenixes don't really matter. They can block and stuff, but... Boom. Sweet. So we like that game. We like that game. Us drawing the creativity there makes up for them having the 1 spell pierce. Now on the draw, changing things a little bit. I guess I bring the Narsets in. I actually looked away for a second. No, those are already in. I don't know what I decided to do here. I need to blow my nose. Sorry, folks. Allergy season. So we see it again. Land, fetch, Brainstorm. Solid hand, though. Has Spray, Dispute. But now you got to kill the Sprite Dragon. So that's not a problem. Play tap, Sulfur Falls. Totally fine. We have Creativity and Outburst. Pretty good. We also have the Dispute to defend it, which is pretty good. Now we need to decide if we want to play Passage. This is a key turn here. So we can play Passage and go for a Brainstorm. Or... we can leave open our Dispute and just like cycle Outburst and go from there. Think that our hand's good enough. We don't need to Brainstorm yet. So we have to do that. They crack this. Excuse me. They go for a looting. Discard Arclight Phoenix. Play Finalia Promise.
Get off my plane.
Max rewarded. So Finalia there would have got back to Phoenixes, which is great. Now you can Brainstorm and use Passage, set things up. Second Creativity, not really needed. And then Prismari Command, again, is not really good. We drew us Magma Spray. We got a Gearhulk now. Now we're cranking. And we can also use the Temple to clear a Brainstorm card also, which is kind of cool. So we can actually like just keep the second Creativity because they have a counterspell or something like that if you wanted to. We decided to just get rid of the Creativity. So we decided to keep 1 Creativity, the Command, and then the Gearhulk on top. They have double Phoenix in the graveyard, which is fine. We have at least 1 Spray coming, and then we have the Outburst cycle as well. And then looting, and then looting, and then looting, and then looting, and then looting. But no Phoenix, thankfully. We get to do the thing. And now we decide if we're going to play around Spell Pierce or Dispute. And we decide to. So we play around Dispute there. And now, this is an important part of the game. Alright, because what happened last turn? They failed to get Phoenixes back. And they have multiple cards in their hand, right? Now, the big problem with Phoenix decks is all their cards need to be proactive. So whenever they sideboard in a reactive card, like a counter spell or an Abrade or some sort of like, whatever, hate card or whatever it is, those cards don't recur Phoenix if you draw them. So we got to have a read on our opponent's hand here, which will come up here in a little bit. So they flashback looting, play iteration. Really cool card. Really cool card. We think for a moment here, and we actually just decide to Gearhulk and counter this because they already cast 2 spells, right? So they flashback the looting, they played the iteration. All they need to find is a land and a 1-mana spell, and they have to get back their Phoenixes here. We don't need to Gearhulk for the busted combos here. We can just play Gearhulk as a Gearhulk, you know? So we just dispute the thing and deny them all their stuff, right? So now we're still in great shape. Now we're ahead. Now we've got Gearhulk in play. They have a few cards in their hand. We still have Creativity, we still have Command, we still have Magma Spray, which is great. So, very happy with how we're navigating this game so far. So they play Stormwing, which is fine. They Scry, which is fine. They bottom, which is great. They Looting. Discard even more Phoenixes. Brainstorm, Looting, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so all said and done, 3 Phoenixes are coming back. Not a problem. Not a problem. Spray 1. We command 1, and we get to make a treasure, which is great. Hello everybody, it's Seth. Probably better known as Rating Jim Stream. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Hi everyone, what's up? My name is Jim, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Seth, for the raid, I appreciate that. Goldfish, I'm coming for you for a challenge in the future, all right, from Mog Monday. Today's Mog Monday. We did Mog Monday. If you missed it, it'll be up on YouTube later. Right now we're doing a match analysis of my tournament yesterday. I played in the Insight Esports 5K, $5,000 Open. And I'm not going to spoil the record because we're 4-2 at this point in the rewatch. And we're just watching our matches at 2x speed and kind of going over the matches. And definitely a very, very cool deck. It's a Gearhulk Indomitable Creativity deck, but not all in on the combo. You can play fair too. You can view the deck list by !decks, of course. And if you're new here, hit that follow button, of course. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Seth. If you don't follow Goldfish somehow, some way,
Inconceivable!
Please hit the button and follow Goldfish too. All right? Boom. Let's keep going here. So we're in the middle of a game 3 against Arclight Phoenix. And a lot has happened in the last few turns. It's really important. But we'll jump right in. So we get to Creativity here. And again, it's kind of the idea of the deck. We use the new big Prismari spells. Get Flashback Creativity. Cast Creativity, play Gearhulk, flashback our Creative Outburst. Look at that. Look at that. It's so shiny. Kill their thing, get an Opus, and just beat them. I'm dying. Appreciate it. So, Shark Typhoon, and now we're way, way ahead. We'll be seeing Opus in Modern. Probably not. Gearhulk is a lot worse in Modern, of course. Deck's just much faster and don't really care about it as much. So probably not. So they play Iteration, they play Looting, and Average is super far behind. Because they can recur these Phoenixes sort of defensively, but they don't even get to do that, and then the game's just over. So, sorry folks. Allergy season, am I right? So slam with the Gearhulks, and now we have a Shark Typhoon for 5. We have Opus if we draw a land. And looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. There's your land, there's a Brainstorm. Again, Phoenixes might come back here. We don't care what people say. There's only 2 of them now because we sprayed one. It's a pretty good turn for them, honestly, all things considered. They put three threats into play. Oh, they found the 4th one, actually? Sure. Now we just cycle Shark, make a 5/5, and they actually just die here to a land. Because we get the Opus, kill their things, tap their things, and spoiler alert, we draw land. 2 lands, actually. So, fire up the Opus. We kill 2 birds. We tap the other 2 things. And then we just kill them. They're super dead. Bang!
Gay. Blouses.
5 and 2. So, we move into our penultimate match here. We are playing against... oops, missed it. The penultimate match against Gruul. I'm sorry, the final match. This is it. This is the money match, folks. So, we're playing for top 16 of this tournament, and top 16 gets $50 and qualifies for an invitational. We're not guaranteed top 16 if we win this at X and 2. But opponent's playing Gruul. Opponent's deck is the deck that won the Jeff Hogue. Woo!
Waka waka.
Woo! Opponent's deck is the deck that played that won the Hoaglandia Open last weekend. And honestly, I think it's a very good choice for this tournament. Just a really solid, straightforward deck for week 1 when everyone's playing graveyard decks. So you're just playing a super consistent deck with 3 Scavenging Ooze and 2 Cloythus. So they have a lot of graveyard hate for our graveyard stuff because everyone's doing graveyard stuff right now. And allergies suck, word of a day. So like their deck a lot. And this match is for all the marbles. We got to win this one. It's a must win. Last match of a tournament. And our opening hand is bad. Next hand is bad. And
Somebody's playing a prank on me.
not good, but mulligan to 5, sure. 5-card hand is I'm sorry folks, my allergies are just slaughtering me. Everyone hold on 1 second. Watch this, look at this thing. Yay, look at this. Trying to make some content here. Content is coming. All right, so mulligan to 5. Our hand's actually pretty good though, all things considered. We've got a command, a spray, bottom of Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon's not very good against these really fast decks. Just too clunky in this deck. But you have 2 removal spells and some lands. Really can't ask for more, honestly. They keep 7. Not good. Land our elves. Now we have a tough spot if it's going to kill us or not. We decide to kill it.
Hi, you folks.
Beagle says, I will say, love the stream. You have by far the best soundboard use I've ever seen on Twitch. Never watched Sushi them. We draw Sweltering Suns, which is like really good. So now I have a chance to win this game. You know, you mulliganed because if they dump their hand here, I said if they dump their hand here, we get to wipe it all away. And now we got a chance to win this game. They may face a company. It's got to not be good here. They hit 2 Burning Trees. This is funny. If they had a second company here, they could have gone again. But they didn't, thankfully. And now we just have Prismari Command and Creativity. We're ready to roll here. We're at 2x speed. This is a replay. I'm not playing right now. Look, Ma, no hands. So this is a replay of my tournament from yesterday. So I decided to let them attack here. Now, they only have 1 card in their hand, right? The card they're really scared of is Embercleave, right? Command answers Embercleave really well. We also want a treasure too, though. I decided to allow them to attack, and then I decided to not cast Command, because if they were like super clutch and just held the Embercleave and played it in response to my command, I would have gotten blown out. So I decided to just take the damage. I could have just killed their thing on like our turn or whatever. I'm not sure if it's right or not. But we get to kill their thing, make a treasure, untap, creativity, and then life is good. And again, this is the point of a deck if you're just tuning in. You creativity your own treasure to get a Gearhulk and then flashback your big spells. Of course, we don't have any big spells right now, but that's fine. Prismari Command is totally fine here. We just get to kill their creature, empty their board, put a 5/6 in play, make a new treasure for our next creativity, and then just keep going. We have Shark Typhoon in hand, and now they got nothing. They got 2 cards, now 1 card in hand. They're flooding a bit, which is great. We draw Opus, which is a little annoying, so we'd have had that last turn, but sure. And we just say go here. We can make a Shark. We got Opus teed up. They draw Bone Crusher, which is pretty good. They need to put a threat into play and shock us. And now we decide if we're going to Shark Typhoon for 3 or 4. I think 3 is better here to preserve the treasure. And the 3 blocks the Bone Crusher anyway. So, and also now if we draw Gearhulk, we can cast it too. So, or a Creativity. So I think 3 here makes more sense. The 4/4 doesn't seem like it matters. It doesn't really change the clock either. And then
Bingo!
there's your Creativity. So now we're off to the races here. We have this Magma Opus in our hand. And we get to discard the Opus, make a treasure, fire off Creativity, and then just the world's in our hands right now. Cycle this, make a treasure. You can only cast it for 1, not 2, unfortunately, but play Gearhulk, Magma Opus.
Game.
Win the game on 5 cards
Blouses.
in the essentially the finals of the tournament for us because we can't top 8. So look at their sideboard. They have 3 copies of Roiling Vortex, a very good card against us. Roiling Vortex, of course, whenever your opponent plays a spell, they didn't spend mana on it, then they have to take 5 damage. So really good against us, obviously, for casting spells. They also have some Gravedigger's Cages. Those don't stop me from getting my Gearhulks, but they will stop the Gearhulk from flashing the spell back. And that's really, and they also have a Abrade, too. So Abrade can kill my treasure in response, or kill Gearhulk, which is kind of cool, too. We thought we were going to bring all of our removal spells, of course. Aether Gust, Abrade. Shave down on the Shark Typhoons, because they're not super great against them. We've been shaving an Outburst a lot. The lapses are a little weird on the draw. They're not great, especially. So shave some lapses, shave an Outburst, and then we actually bring in the Chandras here, and I think we just cut the Typhoons completely. Chandra kills most of their stuff, and if they're able to stick a Vortex, some sort of hate card. Remember, they do have 3 main deck Scavenging Ooze and 2 main deck Cloithus, so they can deal with our graveyard stuff pretty well. So the Chandra is a nice thing that kills most of our stuff at a threat. I shave one of the Creativities just in case. We don't be flushed with combo stuff. They have an answer, so it's pretty cool that this deck can sort of play around graveyard hate by the combo is so, it's not even a combo, it's like a little bit of a synergy combo that can be sideboarded out if necessary. We can just play a normal game. So opener here is pretty good. Double Abrade, we have an Opus, we have Creativity, double Scries, solid hand, solid hand. Opponent mulligans to something. Only fair. We mulligan to 5 in game 1. They mulligan to 5 in game 2. Sure, play a land, sure. We draw an untapped land, which is great. Bottom of Chandra, makes sense. They play Brawler, totally fine. Now, we are a little worried about Scavenging Ooze. So, we're not stoked to just kill non-Ooze creatures. But we have a second Abrade here, so we can just kill this Brawler and not really worry about it. So play lands, they go. Again, lands on red to play Creativity if possible. They go for the attack, they pump the thing, we kill it with Abrade, all feels great. See what the follow-up is here. And the follow-up is a Cloithus. So Cloithus is interesting. Obviously, Cloithus will exile graveyards, but very, very slowly. And we can end-step cycle our Opus and just untap and do our combo. So it isn't really like a true hate card for it. So, Epiphany, the second Opus unnecessary. And I said, what about Temple of Epiphany? And now the clock begins with Cloithus. So, do some damage. Only 2 cards left. They have a Gruul Spellbreaker. Make it a 4/4. Honestly, pretty smart because we can't really kill that super well. We draw a Sweltering Suns. And now we're in like a kind of iffy spot because this Spellbreaker is pretty hard to kill. We're going to require double spells to kill it. We do have a Abrade and Command and Sweltering Suns. So we have a lot of ways to do it. Decide here to go for the draw 2, discard 2, and make a treasure. We could have guessed Brainstorm. But if we Brainstorm there and we miss, the game's over. We just lose. We're just Brainstorm locked. So go for the command. Card advantage here is not important. We're more concerned with just making land drops and casting our spells. So we don't mind pitching some random cards here to our command. And then making the treasure is also good too because it turns on Creativity, which is great. So, and then of course, Opus Flashback is very good against the 4/4 also. So we decided to discard our Chandra. Not really a Chandra game. And then the Brainstorm is like okay, but our hand's already really good. So there's no reason to really like ditch the Brainstorm, I don't think. So we decided to discard the Brainstorm and the Chandra. Play lands, they go. And now we have it set up so we can end step Opus and then Creativity, which is great. Or we can main phase it too, actually. So excuse me. Attack for 4, play Pell Collector, and say go. So we've set up our Opus Creativity. We can go cycle Opus, play land, sack a treasure, and then hit it. The problem is this last card they have in hand. All right, what could this last card be? All right, this is a bit of deduction. This is a little more high level stuff. What could this last card be? It cannot be any threat. Right? Can't actually be any threat at all. That played it. You know, it Can't be company. It could be Embercleave. That is possible. Although I think that given the amount of shatter effects in our deck and instant removal in our deck, they only have like 2 or 3 cleaves. I can see them boarding out the cleaves, right? So it could be a second Cloythus. It could be a land. If it's those, we don't really care. If it's an Abrade, a likely card. Like, this is open deck list. So we have their deck list. You saw it before. I mean, like, where are we? We're at 1302. Their deck list is right here. So we have open deck lists, you know. They have 3 company, 2 Embercleave, bunch of creatures. So I think Abrade is a very likely card to have. Now, if we go for the creativity on only 1 token, and they have Abrade, we get blown out and probably lose the game. Because at that point, our Opus is already in the graveyard. Next turn, Cloythus removes it. So it's devastating. So we draw a land here. And, ooh, we're getting a little squirrely. We also, now we have the option, we can just cast Sweltering Suns and just Abrade the Spellbreaker. And now we're back to nothing in play. So, still a reasonable play. I think about it here. We almost do it. But you know what? We can play around Abrade safely here. We can kill their board safely here. Our life total is reasonably high. So, we just pop off Suns and Abrade here. We're in no rush. And then next turn, we can set up for a cycle for Opus, and we can creativity for both treasures at once. Therefore, 1 Abrade won't break us up. So, they get to pop Cloythus again, which is fine. They're dying to draw a threat here, of course. And they draw a Burning Emissary with nothing else. Fine. We're going to draw another Sweltering Suns. So we have a land. So now, again, if we cycle an Opus here, we will have a treasure in play. We can't cast the creativity for both creatures, though. And now we're at 10. We are dying. So we are Sweltering Suns. We can just Suns here, and then end step Opus, set up creativity, which I like a lot. So, again, playing around Abrade, I think we have the luxury of doing. Kill their creatures. We are dying, but once we get to cast the creativity, just turn the corner really fast. So, do that, say go. They exile again, which is fine. Kill a Brainstorm, sure. So now we're actually out of spells. So if this were to resolve for 2, one of our Gearhulks wouldn't do anything. It's still 5/6. So do that, untap, draw land, pop off. So we go for it. And what happens? It resolves, it gets 2 Gearhulks, 1 gets the Opus, and they have the Abrade. So they had the Abrade, right? So yeah, we could do a little of this on there, right? Brush shoulders off, and but they recognize that there's no point in abrading the treasure because I guess it's the same thing, right? They braid the treasure or braid the Gearhulk. I only have 1 big spell to flashback anyway. So 2 Gearhulks is not much different than 1. They just kill a Gearhulk, which is fine. We cast Opus. We go upstairs. We tap their lands, deal some damage, make a thing. So now we have 9 power in play. The problem is, of course, that we are at 8. So we're 4 turns from death on Cloythus, and they're also gaining life. But we draw cards. We draw Outburst. Pretty cool. So hitting the Hulk, yeah, I guess hitting the Hulk does lower our Hulk count. So spray that, untap. Now we have the ability to cast Outburst, which is great. Play lands, they go. Sure, they killed it a Gearhulk from my deck. Absolutely, you're correct. So now we're at 4, and they play a Scavenging Ooze, which is pretty good, honestly. It can gain life. Realistically, the life gain in the blocker is better than the Graveyard Hate right now because they're just trying to stay alive for 2 turns while Cloythus kills us, right? Because we're at 4. So we were gonna nug them with this Outburst. We gotta kill this the Ooze. They eat a creature. They go to 20, and we look at our top 5 cards, and we find Gust, Creativity, or Lapse. Nothing in the graveyard for creativity, and Lapse is kind of eh. So, but Gust is perfect. So now we can Gust their Cloythus. We can actually do it in their draw steps. They can't even play it next turn. It's possible their last card's another Cloythus, but Gust is really, really good. That buys us a lot of time. We can also do it in like their upkeep if you wanted to. If you wanted to have them draw it and not draw something else. If they draw a Questing Beast, for example, we're dead. Things like that. But we don't want them to replay it. We do it in the draw. So let them draw a card. Gust the thing. Now it's on top of their deck, and they've already drawn for a turn. So they won't draw it till next turn, and then it won't trigger to the following turn. So you have plenty of time here. Even if they draw some blockers, which is pretty good. So Gust that. They play a Rolling Vortex. A little too late, my friend. A little too late. There's your Vortex. That puts us to 3. We draw a Prismari Command, and
Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my
no
God!
chance to top deck. We finish him off with the Prismari Command. So we were dead there to exactly stomp our Questing Beast. But we get to kill him. That's the game, folks.
After it was all over, He took us in the house of service paying.
And look at that!
15th place.
I made it!
We didn't come in 17th like I predicted. So 15th place. What does that get us, Jim? I'll tell you. It gets us 50.
Shut up, Jim! So we made it. So breakers held. We still got us into 15th place. It's really, really cool. We won $50 for our treble. Show me the money! And we also qualified for their invitational. Hashtag sponsored. I am sponsored by Insight. This event was awesome. Great prize pool. It was only $15 to enter as long as you signed up at any day but the day of. Jeff, I'm just about to get off. Goldfish and Jeff with the huge raids. I love y'all. Why do you gotta do this to me? I got so many viewers now.
Congrats on the placement, Jim.
Brown out resub, thanks so much. Obviously, Jeff's great too. Thanks to the raid, appreciate that. I'll be casting with Jeff in a few weeks for one of Jeff's opens. But yeah, the start was super, super great. And save a line, Jim. Mod Monday was before. You missed it. You missed it. Play Little Goblins. Oh my God, you're killing me. I got to take care of Nicole. Nicole's laying on the couch too. She's incapacitated. Her ankle's screwed up. But yeah, so super great tournament. And our deck was really, really cool. I'm not going to lie. This deck was really, really cool. You want to see more of this deck? My cool stuff at Inc.com video today. I play more of it. Just a really fun, cool deck. Great tournament. 6-2. Nicole's at YouTube University. Oh, okay, sure. I got to stay on. I can stay on for a little longer, sure. I appreciate the raid, Jeff. You're awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, deck's super cool. YouTube folks, like, comment, subscribe. Also, let me know if you enjoy this content, right? YouTube. Whew. Whew.